comprehensive update. Of course, we'll keeping an eye on that developing story. And still on that, I want us to cross over to Kakamega, where Alan Uchanda now joins us live. Alan, good morning. Of course, yesterday, some confusion was witnessed. Have things settled down today?
Well, actually, we are in Vihiga County, specifically at Mbale Shalom Academy here in Vihiga County. Of course, witnessing and just visiting the schools to witness the exercise of admission of junior secondary school learners. Remember that the junior secondary school level officially opened yesterday, 30th, but today is when most of the schools have actually opened their doors to ensure they now kick off the admission exercise officially. So, my colleague, if you could just pan here, you can see they're already carrying out the admission exercise. They actually are gradually coming. We expect that most of the schools see. Of course, remember that yesterday when the education director was actually talking to us, he actually spoke to the fact that some schools have not been given the green light to just house the junior secondary schools, both public and private schools. Of course, it's been informed by the infrastructural readiness. And so, for those schools that will not have the junior secondary section, will have to be merged, but of course being conscious of the radius, of course, in terms of distance from the parent school. And so let's just speak to the head teacher here of Mbale Shalom Academy here in Vihiga County. Maybe just tell us your name and also just speak to the progress of the admission exercise of learners here at your school.
Okay, so my name is Omori Crispin. This is Mbale Shalom Academy in Vihiga County. We are admitting the junior secondary school students. The process started yesterday, and up to now, we have around 60 pupils students admitted in this school. And some of them are still being admitted. They are coming today, and this one Joshua. So the activity is going on well. Yeah, it's going well. Only that we have one problem of textbook. So we have a challenge in the market. When you go there, you find that some of the textbooks are not found in the market. So maybe we get the government to allow the publishers to sell the same books that were given to the government schools, so that we can use the same books also in private. So the books are not for sale. They can allow the same publishers to sell for the books, so that we can do the same books during our curriculum implementation.
Maybe you're talking about the textbook acquisition and access. Yeah, of course, the modalities involved between the public and private schools is actually quite different. We're talking about the publishers being allowed to also supply here. Remember that public schools, the ministry and the KICD has actually indicated that they actually be given each learner in the public schools. Of course, junior secondary section will actually each learner will be getting a textbook in each of the subjects being pursued. Maybe here in the private schools, how will you be accessing them? Is it the parent to actually access them individually, or what are actually the modalities involved?
So here, we encourage our parents to buy their pupils' textbooks. So the problem is that when they go to the market, the books we have to use, the approved ones, some of them are not found in the market, and they are given to the public school. So we were asking the government, the book that the tender was given to public schools, it would be better if they can allow the publishers to sell the same books to private schools. So they buy the same books without that logo of not for sale, so that we can also have those books. Yeah.
Nice, thanks so much. Of course, the head teacher Mbale Shalom Academy here, but also let's just speak to one of the parents here who is actually just carrying out admission for our son. Maybe just move a step here. Maybe just tell us your name, the admission process here, how the experience is, and of course the access to textbooks for the course of your son here.
Okay, I'm Violet Achenge Rima. I'm a parent to Joshua Bolt. My son has been learning here since the ECD section. And I've decided to bring my son back here because, one, the school is okay. The books are available. They're in the market. We have not strained getting them. The choice of the books they have gotten, also the content is okay. Then the admission process is very fast. We have not struggled. I've chosen to bring my son for a boarding because I come from far. In the interior part of the Maragoli land, the son cannot commute. That's why I've opted for boarding. It was not a forced thing. Yeah.
So far, no challenge, maybe no obstacle in the process of admitting your son here, because of course some parents have actually spoken to the issue that yes, they are willing to purchase those textbooks, but they are not being actually accessible. They are not available on the shelves in the public bookshop.
No, I think this kind of the set of the textbooks the school always chosen are easy to get from the bookshops around. So previously we've not had a challenge, and we came here earlier even before admission. We saw already they had a set of textbooks. So it was not a very great deal. Of course, one or two might be missing because of the rush in getting the textbook of the demand is high. But now we will get it to the right point, yeah.
Thanks so much. All the best. Of course, Ashley, before I get back to the head teacher, remember that most of the schools have actually opted to ensure they have a distinction between the learners from grade 1 to grade 6 and those actually transitioning to grade 7. That's actually the junior secondary section. Remember that, like you can see behind me, those actually donning, those are red. If at all I've gotten the color quite right, they're actually donning that color. But on my right, you can see this is actually the uniform being donned by the junior secondary section. So you can actually see a clear distinction between the learners. You can tell that from afar, from even close, you can tell that these are actually learners for the other grade, junior secondary school. Of course, these are actually quite possible in the private schools, but for public schools, of course, remember that it's actually public institutions, and so there are actually processes in as far as changing of uniforms, distinguishing the uniforms between the junior secondary learners and of course the other learners from grade 1 to grade 6. And so let me also just pose this question to the head teacher here about the absorption of other learners, because remember that the ministry and KICD yesterday hinted that some schools will not be given that green light of just housing the junior secondary section. So the other schools that are actually housing the junior secondary will be forced to absorb more learners. Maybe, Bana head teacher, one last question here. What is your carrying capacity in terms of junior secondary? Are you able to absorb your initial learners from grade 6 and also absorb some of the learners who will be seconded to this school from other schools that do not really house junior secondary school?
Yeah, I think the government recommendation was that you have to have a minimum of 45 students per class. And for us, we are planning for 4 streams. Our last year KPCR students were 107. So if 45 times 4, we are able to get around 180. So we are able to still host other learners from the neighboring schools.
Nice. Thanks so much. Well, Ashley, the head teacher of Mombasa Shalom Academy here in Vihiga County, and also the parent here, really talking about the kickstarting of admission of junior secondary school here. Of course, some hiccup here, but not really the teething problems that were witnessed when the whole program was actually rolled out. And so you can see if the admission is actually ongoing, they have already admitted at least 60 learners. They are saying their carrying capacity is actually 180, and so they're actually able to absorb some learners from other schools which were not given the nod to just have the junior secondary section.